So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this free case study training. My name is Kai Bax, and within this case study, I'm going to be walking you through exactly how we produce our e-commerce and info product clients over 6 figures per month after ad cost. And essentially my goal with this case study is to provide you with the step-by-step process that we implement at Bax Consulting for all of our clients when it comes to paid traffic, that exact process that turns our e-com and info product clients into multiple 7 and 8 figure behemoths. And as I mentioned, I just really want to pull back the curtain on exactly how we go about doing that. So as I say, how we generate over 6 figures per month after ad spend for our e-commerce and info product clients. So basically there's 3 pillars to what we do, right? There's 3 pillars, and that's really going to serve as the backbone, the skeleton to this case study. So the first things first, we're going to go through the platform that you must be on. You absolutely must be on this specific platform. Then we're going to go through the 3 components to successful advertising, because it's all well and good running ads on that platform that you must be on, but in order to run those ads successfully, there's really, as I mentioned, there's 3 components that go into it. And so we're going to be breaking that down. And then we're going to go through mastering the art of becoming ubiquitous. And so I want to break down those 3 components that really is vital to successful advertising. Essentially then at that point, once you couple all 3 of these elements, all 3 of these pillars, you'll be able to run effective and profitable paid traffic. So first things first, just so you know I'm not making this stuff up, just so you don't think that I'm just pulling this out of thin air or whatever, everything we're going to go through in this case study is pulled directly from what we are implementing within client ad accounts right now. And it's just stuff that genuinely works. As I say, I'm not pulling this stuff out of thin air, but as I say, just so you know I'm not making this stuff up, I want to show you a couple case studies. So this first client is actually a supplement e-commerce client of ours that we actually helped scale to 625,000 from 40K in ad spend in 6 months. And actually it's funny, before they started implementing this strategy with us, they had actually never ran any Facebook ads previously, and really paid traffic overall for that matter. They were actually 100% influencer marketing based, which is all well and good, but when it comes to influencer marketing, it doesn't serve as a predictable machine, right? It's very up and down. It's a very volatile method of marketing. And as I say, although it does work, it's not predictable. And it doesn't, when you do influencer marketing, it doesn't produce a machine that essentially spits out cash like paid traffic does. And so essentially what we did is we helped them get their product market fit on point with cold audiences by dialing in their messaging and creatives. And as I say, now we're routinely bringing in over 6 figures a month after ad cost. This is another skincare e-commerce client of ours once again, that we are spending around 1,000 a day with, so 7,000 a week, and are routinely bringing in 37K a week, as I say, from 7K ad spend. And before we came in, they were actually working with a previous agency that followed the set and forget type method, which is quite ironic because, the set and forget type method, if you're not familiar with it, essentially what it is, and a lot of these agencies out there do that, they, essentially they'll run an ad, they'll launch a new campaign, they'll launch a new advertising ad set, or a new creative or whatever it may be. They feel good about themselves, they've launched it, they've set the campaign up, and then they forget about it. It's like, oh, I've already set it up, so now I don't need to look at it, I don't need to do anything with it. And we refer to that as the set and forget type method. And in order to spend any noticeable amount of money on Facebook ads, whether that be 1,000 a day or 5,000 a day or 10,000 a day, the set and forget type method never ever works, and it's very evident here. But we basically, once we came in, obviously we radically changed their approach to marketing overall, which has gone ahead and shot their ROAS through the roof and at a higher ad spend. So not only have we increased the ad spend, I believe they were spending around 200 to 300 a day prior to us coming on board. Now we're able to spend 1,000, just over 1,000 a day, and their ROAS has gone from, I think it was around a 2-3 ROAS all the way up to 5.5-6 ROAS. And again, this is another client of ours who actually sells a $47 informational product with a back-end upsell. So on the front end, we get people into the funnel, we inject people into the funnel with a $47 product, and then it's in the back end that this client specifically has actually a $797 offer. And obviously, because it's an informational product, it's almost 100% profit margins. And essentially, we've helped them not only validate their offer, but also we actually redefined who their target audience truly is, which had then enabled us to scale from 0 to 57K generated in 2 weeks with 6K in ad spend, as you can see in the top right hand corner of the screen there. It's always got the date range. So in the first 16 days of June, we basically went from 0 to 57K generated with only 6K in ad spend. Then again, this is another client. In the month of April, we was actually able to generate this e-commerce client who is, funnily enough, in the biotech niche, very interesting niche, very, very good niche to work with, and was actually able to generate them over 150,000 from 7.2 thousand in ad spend. And again, this is actually another info product client of ours who sells a $1997 program, so a $2,000 program with again almost 100% profit margins, given it's an informational product. And so we spent 56K in May to bring back in 178K. So this client profited well and truly over 6 figures. And obviously, as I mentioned, that's pure profit. Now this metrics sheet is actually a client reporting sheet that we use in-house, which is why it's not obviously the ads manager, but this is a client reporting sheet that we leverage in-house for our clients. And 2K program and basically 100% profit margins. And again, another client who we're able to spend a little under 2K a day, actually ranges from around 2K to 2.5K a day. And we're able to generate an average ROAS of anywhere from 3 to 4 we see with this ecom client. And obviously on this specific day, 2nd of July, as you can see in the top right hand corner, we was able to spend 1,700 and bring back in 6,500, which were warranted an average ROAS of 3.65. And again, this is another great client where everything from product market fit to the website to the offer, everything is all perfect. And when we couple that with perfectly crafted advertising, which funny enough is what we're going to be going through in this case study, right? We're basically, in these client accounts, we're basically leveraging exactly what I'm going to be going through in this case study. So as I say, when you couple just everything from product market fit, website, offer with perfectly crafted advertising, the ROAS that is able to be achieved is astronomical, which is very, very evident here with this client. 9.4K spent to generate over 137,000 in 30 days alone. And again, this is another informational product client, info product client, where we was essentially able to help strike a nerve within his ideal customer and couple that with a killer sales funnel. And basically that now enables us to spend, anywhere from 1 to 1.5K a day and average a 5 to 6 ROAS, as we can see obviously in this screenshot once again, 1.1K spent to generate 7.5K in 1 day. So look, there's just a very small handful of screenshots of client ad accounts, from e-commerce clients to informational product clients, from $47 products, $97 products, all the way up to, 2K programs, etc. So essentially what I want to do now is actually walk you through our live client ad account so you can see in real time the results that we're able to generate. This is actually an e-commerce client of ours once again. So I want to walk you through that, and so just so you can see in real time what the results actually look like. So this is actually inside one of our client ad accounts right now, and as you can see this month, so this is obviously at the date of recording this, it is currently October 2020. As you can see, if I go to this month's date range, I'll update it as well just so you can see. Currently, so far in this month, we spent almost 3,000 and brought in 42,000 for an average ROAS of 14.47. And actually, if we go to last month, so we can see an entire month's view, you can see we spent just under 12,000 and we've brought in a little over 190,000 for an average ROAS again of 16.22. I'll go ahead and update it. So yeah, as you can see, an amazing client. And this is one where, as I mentioned previously, everything is on point from product market fit, sales process, and obviously once those two things are coupled with just perfectly crafted advertising, I mean, at that point, it really is a home run. And another thing that I want to show you as well is a lifetime view of this account. So if we go back to obviously November 2019, as you can see here, before we came in, we literally started running ads on November 2019 on the 4th. And as you can see here, we go to the 3rd, literally, obviously there's no data, right? I mean, if we go to October 2019, I'll show you again, there's no data. This was an entirely brand new ad account. And so, this just goes to show how scalable Facebook ads truly are, right? Before 4th of November 2019, there was no money spent on the account. Now, at a lifetime view, almost an entire year, we have spent 90,000 on ads. So again, this client's slightly lower in terms of ad spend, but obviously we more than make up for that in the ROAS front, right? 90,000 spent and 1.4 million brought in for an average ROAS of 16 on the dot, actually. And again, I'll go ahead and update it just so you can see that, this is real results, and what we're going to go through in this presentation / case study, it's all pulled directly from client ad accounts of this nature, and it's all stuff that is, we're actively implementing. So as I mentioned, just wanted to show you this live client ad account to really prove that, everything we're going to be going through is actively working right now. It's not stuff that's outdated. It's not stuff that's pulled out of thin air either. It's strategies and ideas and concepts, etc., that we're actively implementing right now for our e-commerce and info product clients. So I hope that gave you some more understanding, some more clarity as to what things look like in real life. So let's get back into the presentation. So who is this presentation really for? What type of person is this presentation perfect for? Well, look, maybe you're an e-com or info product owner who, has a strong product market fit, some initial monthly revenue, a strong business thesis, but you just haven't figured out your sales funnel yet. You don't have a predictable and profitable way to turn ice cold strangers into brand evangelists. And, you don't have a proven sales process that brings in customers at a price that makes sense. I mean, that's the most important thing, right? Is that you have a machine that spits out customers at a price that makes sense. And you've also got a machine that turns an ice cold stranger into a brand evangelist. That's what you want. Okay. And so maybe you don't have one of those right now. Maybe you don't have a machine like that in your business right now. Maybe you've tried ads, but it didn't work. You may have even tried up switching your offer, but you still can't seem to figure out how to predictably scale your business with paid traffic. And you may even feel as though you're kind of pinned up against the wall and you can't sleep at night because you're wondering whether you'll make the same amount next month as you did this month or as you did last month. And really, at the end of the day, you just want to break out of that 15,000 to 80,000 per month rat race and truly and utterly scale your brand to multiple 7 and 8 figures whilst being offensively profitable. If you feel as though that's you, this presentation is seriously going to help you. And in addition to that, you may also be working with an agency currently who is literally making you want to pull your hair out, okay? It takes them days to respond to your simple questions, your simple requests. They are throwing stuff at the wall, hoping something sticks, and they refer to that process as testing, which is honestly hilarious to me. They refer to that process as testing when, in actual fact, all they're doing is unnecessarily losing your money. And you're telling them, you're like, look, guys, this is not working. What you're doing isn't working. And they're like, no, this is what we need to be doing. This is, the testing phase and whatnot. But really, at the end of the day, all it's doing is just unnecessarily losing your money. And, obviously this is going to make you feel as though you're in uncertain soils and makes you second guess yourself as to whether online paid traffic can either work for you and your business at a high level, because the team you originally thought could take you there are doing nothing more than draining your bank account and or are just simply not hitting the potential that your business has. Like, honestly, I cannot begin to explain how many clients on our client roster right now were in this position with previous agencies, just, kind of promising the world and literally delivering nothing, but they always had that excuse like, oh no, this is just the testing phase. Yeah, this is very much expected, etc., etc. If that's you right now, don't worry. I really do believe this presentation can really, really help you out. So very, very quickly, I just want to go through a bit of background on myself, Kai Bax, and Bax Consulting overall. So I actually founded Bax Consulting, which has turned into one of the most prevalent e-com and info product marketing agencies and has helped hundreds of brands scale to multiple 7 and 8 figures directly and indirectly. And because we're one of the leading agencies in this space, we've actually built up a large client waiting list as well. Just because the e-com and info product founders look at the results that we're able to get and realize that this is truly what's going to get them to the multiple 7 and 8 figure level that everybody really wants to get to. And I also founded a multiple 6-figure education company that teaches others how to start and scale their own agencies. And really the reason Bax Consulting is able to produce such unmatched results for our clients is because we practice what we preach. We literally, what I'm preaching in this case study, I'm implementing for Bax Consulting, I'm implementing for my education company. And the reason is because it just works. And I know it works. That's why I preach it. And that's why obviously I do it for myself. And, I can almost guarantee no other agency runs paid traffic for themselves at a high level while still being offensively profitable. And as I say, the reason the education company is so successful is because I found a hole in the market, I built an MVP, I battle tested it with a small beta group, and then I pushed it to the masses, just like I implore info product clients to do. And as I mentioned, we just simply practice what we preach. And we have also helped hundreds of companies spanning across hundreds of industries dial in their own sales process and scale up their monthly revenue aggressively via paid traffic. So that's a little bit about myself and, Bax Consulting, and obviously a little bit about my education company as well. But enough on me. I want to dive straight into the training. The platform you must be on. As I'm probably sure you've already guessed, it's Facebook and its networks. By the way, its networks naturally encompasses things like Instagram, WhatsApp, Messenger, etc. Facebook owns it all. Now, the reason Facebook and its networks it's just the platform that you must be on is simply because that is where everybody's eyeballs really are. Just take a look at this graph for a second, right? This is a graph of the top 15 most popular social networks worldwide as of April 2020, so pretty recent, and it's actually ranked by number of active users in millions, right? So top 15, if we take the top six most popular social networks, it's Instagram, WeChat, Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, YouTube, and Facebook, obviously. Now, the ones highlighted in green, that's what Facebook owns. Facebook owns, obviously, Facebook, and that has 2.5 billion active users. Then it's YouTube with 2 billion. Then it's WhatsApp with 2 billion as well. Facebook Messenger with 1.3. Obviously, Facebook owns both WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger. And then you've got WeChat, and then you've got Instagram with 1 billion as well. So if you're not actively pushing and you're not actively aggressive with Facebook and its networks, then you are missing out on an obscene amount of people and potential customers just by not actively being on those platforms. And really, this is how we're able to generate all these types of results for our e-commerce and info product clients. It's simply because we leverage Facebook and its networks. If we weren't on this platform, if we weren't leveraging Facebook and its networks, there is no way we'd be able to generate these types of results for our clients that spread across a whole heap of different industries, within e-commerce, within info product and whatnot. We just won't be able to produce these types of results. And to be honest, in the rare occasion when our clients receive a measly 300% return month on month, for example, right, with 3xing their money, 3 ROAS, myself and the team at Bax Consulting are really not that happy with it, right? That said, with a 300% return in any other platform of marketing is seen to be a huge win. And that's just the nature of how effective Facebook ads really is. And obviously you can see with this client, we spent 21,000 and brought back in 138,000 for an average ROAS of 6.6. And again, 55,000 spent, 291,000 brought in, 5.34 ROAS. 16,000 spent, 77,000 brought in for an average ROAS of 4.84. This is just a true testament to how aggressive paid traffic can be, especially with this screenshot right here, because this is actually an info product brand that had never ever ran any ads prior to June 2020. And in the space of 3 months, we literally went from $0 spent to 80K brought in with only 16,000 in ad spend, right? So no other platform enables you to scale that quickly. In the space of 3 months, we went from 0 to 16,000 spent, and we went from 0 to 80,000 brought in 3 months. So, no other platform enables you to scale in that much of an aggressive manner that quickly. However, this is just, as I mentioned before, it's just the reality of what can happen when you pair a converting sales process, a product that has market fit, and extremely effective advertising on the platforms of Facebook and its networks. And again, another really, really good case study, 56K spent, 300K brought in. So really that's just a true testament to how important it is that you are leveraging Facebook and its networks. So now let's have a look at the 3 components to successfully advertising on Facebook. Without these 3 components, your Facebook ads and really just your overall paid traffic will just either simply not convert, or it just won't be producing at the level that it can be. So the 3 components is essentially ad copy that strikes a nerve. Okay, this is absolutely vital, as we'll discover here in a minute. So ad copy that strikes a nerve, plus creatives that stop the scroll, plus audiences that act. And basically that equation equals successful Facebook advertising. So obviously each section of that, so ad copy strikes a nerve, creatives that stop the scroll, and audiences that act, it goes a lot more granular. And as I say, I'm not about providing hollow value. So I want to break down each section and really show you just how important it is to get these things on point and how you can actually go about leveraging these things to the highest level. So let's get kick-started with ad copy that strikes a nerve. So essentially crafting ad copy that strikes a nerve within your ideal customer stems from completely understanding your ideal customer avatar. Okay, it's super important that you completely understand your ideal customer avatar. So let me ask you these questions. Wherever you're currently running ads, whether it be influencer marketing or you are already ahead of the ball, ahead of the game, and you're already on Facebook and running ads and paid traffic of that nature, doesn't matter. Wherever your ads are, do your advertisements speak to your customers directly? Okay, so if you've got a customer, say for example, she's called Jasmine. When Jasmine reads your advertisement, does she feel that your brand is speaking directly to her, nobody else? Or does she feel as though your advertisement is trying to speak to millions and millions of people? Because if she feels as though your ads are speaking to millions and millions of people, it's not going to resonate deeply with Jasmine herself, right? It's just not going to, strike that nerve. And so that's the first thing. Do your advertisements speak to your customers directly as an individual? Next, do your advertisements look like they are a friend speaking to your ideal customer? Let's go back to the Jasmine example that I used, right? Does Jasmine feel as though you as a brand are speaking to her as an individual? Does she feel as though you're speaking to her as a friend, right? Or is your copy very, very salesy and she feels as though she's being sold to? Because again, it goes back to what I said before, ad copy that strikes a nerve, right? If she feels as though she's being sold to, she's not going to resonate with said ad as much if she feels as though she's being sold to, right? And then also finally, we've got, do your advertisements fit into the platform you're advertising on, but also catch your ideal customer's attention? So, reverting back to what I said previously, if your target audience feels as though they're being sold to, it's not going to resonate with them. But you still need to catch their attention, right? So you need to make sure that your ads fit into the feed. What's on people's feeds is normally family content, friends content, etc. So you need to make sure it fits into that type of content, but it also needs to, when they scroll through, it needs to, spark their attention and they look at it and it catches their attention. And then as we're going to go through here further on in this case study, in this presentation, I'm going to go through how you can basically catch their attention and then what you want to do with that attention, if that makes sense. So look, ask yourself those questions, and if you answered no to any of those questions, then you need to seriously revise your current marketing approach. Now, right now, your current ads and whatnot may actually be producing, okay results, but it's still, even though at that point, if you answered no to any of those questions, what that means and what that tells me is that you are still leaving money on the table because your potential is so much higher than what you're actually currently getting and the results that you're currently getting. And look, at the end of the day, nobody willingly reads an advert. End of. Okay, nobody willingly reads an advert. And this graph really just drills that point home, right? This is a graph of the leading Facebook usage reasons according to users in the United States as of the third quarter of 2019. So, slightly out of date, but it's still very, very relevant, right? 88% of people use Facebook to keep contact with friends and family. 33% of them use it to get entertainment. So, just watch those videos, look at funny images, whatever they do. They use it to get, entertainment. 23% use it to get news and keep updated with what's going on in the world, etc. 17% use it to follow brands and companies. 11% use it to strengthen professional network. And 6% use it for other purposes. Now, not one of those reasons, okay, not a single one of those reasons says that people use Facebook to read ads. And so, as I say, that graph right there just really drills home the point of the fact that nobody willingly reads an advert. You've got to, quote unquote, trick people into reading your advert, and then you sell them once you've got them hooked in. The way that you do that is by crafting ad copy that really, really strikes a nerve within your ideal customer. Now, how do you craft ad copy of that nature? Well, going back to what I said before, you need to understand exactly who your ideal customer avatar is. Now, this is where, myself and the team at Bax Consulting, we leverage this Excel spreadsheet for all of our clients, and we ask our clients these specific questions, right? And I really, really recommend that if you haven't done this already, you go ahead and build out an Excel spreadsheet and you ask yourself these exact same questions, because this is exactly how you can craft ad copy, because this will help you so much in crafting ad copy that really, really speaks directly to your ideal customer, okay? So first things first, product/service USPs. What are your unique selling points over your competition? Why do people come to you over your competition? Then have a look at brand stories, right? A brand story that routinely wins, and it's one that's always going to be there for every single client that we work with, is simply why they built the business in the first place. Oftentimes there's a real reason, there's a real story behind the creation of their business, of their brand and whatnot. So that's an amazing brand story because it's personal, and it's, people can resonate with it. They can connect with that story. Next, you've got your audience demographics, right? What age range is your audience? What gender is your audience? Where are they mainly located? Figure out exactly where they are, because then when you go into the Facebook platform, you can run ads solely to those types of people. And then we always ask, who does your audience follow? For example, if you've got an e-commerce brand in the biotech niche, a real interesting industry, a biotech niche, who does your audience follow? Well, for me, I would probably say that a lot of people, if your demographic, this is going to the previous question, right? So you can see how all of this is intertwined. If your demographic is, males 25, or maybe, males 20 to 30, for example, then when you look at, who does your audience follow? Well, a really good person, I would say, is probably Joe Rogan, right? If you know Joe Rogan, then you'll see why I'm saying him, because he's very much into his, optimization of his body, getting as much out of his body, being as efficient as possible and whatnot. It really ties in with the biotech niche. So you need to understand who your audience follows, because that's not only going to help you write better ad copy, but also help targeting as well within the Facebook Ads Manager. And then we've got, what excites your audience, what gets them going, what frustrates your audience, what really gets under their skin. What does your audience fear? What are they scared of? What word/language does your audience use? This is so important, because an ideal customer who is, male 18 to 25 is going to speak very, very differently to an ideal customer who is a woman age 50 to 60, for example. So, the way that you construct your words, the language that you use in the ad copy is very, very important. So, you really need to understand what your ideal customer's language is, what their daily language, and leverage that within your ad copy. And then obviously at the end there, you've got, who your competitors are, have a look at what they're doing, how they're constructing things, etc. By you executing on a customer avatar development sheet of this nature, it will help you so much when it comes to writing ad copy that truly strikes a nerve. And so, on that topic, what actually happens when you write ad copy that strikes a nerve? Because you may be thinking, oh, that's all well and good, but why do we really need to do this? What actually happens? Well, first things first, it elicits a response like nothing else. Truly, it elicits a response like nothing else. When your ideal customer reads your ad copy, they will generate an innate motivation to buy your product, or at least proceed to the next step, because you struck a nerve. This is because they feel as though you are speaking directly to them, one-to-one, and they feel as though you truly understand them, which you do, and they also feel as though your product is something that they need. And this is all purely spawned from your ad copy, okay? Now, another thing that is super, super important is the fact that your CTR increases. Now, CTR basically means click-through rate. So the percentage, what percentage of people see your ad and click through to the landing page, your website or your webinar or whatever it is, if you're e-com or info product, it was gonna vary, but that's essentially what CTR means. And because this type of ad copy elicits a response like nothing else, your CTR drastically increases, which makes your advertising efforts ridiculously more profitable. And really, here's how. Here's the uncomfortable truth about increasing CTR. So let's say, for example, you're running ads right now and you're averaging a 1% CTR. So again, CTR refers to the percentage of people who see your ad and then actually click through to the website or to the funnel, right? So if you've got a 1% CTR right now, that may generate 5,000 clicks. And if you've got an average website conversion rate of 3%, those 5,000 clicks is going to warrant 150 purchases, right? Obviously, there's a myriad of other factors that come into play in this type of equation, but let's just say from a bird's eye level view, arbitrary numbers, okay? 1% CTR, that may warrant 5,000 clicks. If you've got a 3% website conversion rate, that then will mean you'll get 150 purchases. Now let's look on the flip side and let's see just by increasing your CTR from a 1% to a 2%, what does that have on your results? Well, now you're going to warrant 10,000 clicks, right? Because, 1% CTR produced 5,000 clicks. Now a 2% CTR, you've doubled your CTR, means you're going to double your clicks. So now you get 10,000 clicks. With the same website conversion rate, you've now generated 300 purchases. So you've literally 2x'd your results. You've doubled your results. And bear in mind, looking at this equation, just by increasing your CTR, you're not actually spending any more money. You're just basically converting more of the people who are already going to see your ad anyway. If you spend, I don't know, $1,000, for example, right? Again, completely arbitrary, but if you spent $1,000 and you get a 1% CTR, that may warrant 5,000 clicks, right? But if you just increase that to 1% to a 2%, you're still spending $1,000, but now you're getting more juice out of your squeeze. You're getting more from that $1,000 by doubling your CTR. So that means you're going to double your clicks, right? So that's really the uncomfortable truth about increasing your CTR. 1% to a 2% CTR basically means you're going to double your returns. And really at the end of the day, your CTR, your click-through rate, is entirely correlated to your ad copy and your creatives. So just by working on your ad copy, by making your ad copy strike a nerve and really makes the hairs on your customers stand up, it really speaks to them directly. By just doing that, ensuring that your ad copy follows that suit, you're going to, you have the ability to 2-3x your results without spending a dime more on advertising. Now, let's have a look at creatives that stop the scroll. This is just as important as ad copy, okay? So let me ask you this question. How many ads have you come across in the last 3 days that brought your scrolling to a halt? You're just scrolling through social media on Instagram, Facebook, whatever it is, and you literally had to stop your scrolling because you've seen an ad and it seriously caught your eye. How many? Probably not that many, right? See, it doesn't matter how great your ad copy is if no one's reading it, right? You can have the best written ad copy in the entire world, but at the end of the day, if no one's reading it, it's not going to produce any good results. And, this is one of our ads that we was running previously. You can see the copy really speaks to our ideal customer directly, etc. But the point of this, of showing you this ad, is to show you that really the sole purpose of the creative is to get people to stop scrolling. Right? Nobody stops their scroll because they've seen some words on the screen and it caught their attention. That rarely happens. The thing that takes up the most real estate in Facebook and on Instagram and whatnot is the images. So that's what's going to catch their eye, and that's what you need to make sure your ads do. You need to make sure it catches their eye. So you can see with this creative right here, it fits into the platform. First things first, as I was talking about before, that the ad itself massively fits into the platform. This creative, it looks like it could be a friend or a family's picture or whatever. It just simply fits into the platform. But also in the same light, it looks affluent and it is kind of eye-catching because it's a nice taken shot. And so it's going to get people to stop. And then once they stop, that is when it takes people to the ad copy. So essentially the idea behind creatives is it's to get people to stop. That's the only thing you want your creative to do. Get people to stop the scroll. And then once they've stopped, that's when your ad copy needs to take over. And as you can see here on this screen, that's exactly what happens. People stopped at the creative, and then that's where the ad copy took over. And then because the ad copy speaks to my ideal client, it really elicits a response like nothing else. It really speaks to them directly. It highlights their pain, what they're going through, and all that type of stuff. At that point, that's when they'll go ahead and click through. So that's kind of the funnel that you want to take somebody through. The creative gets them to stop, and then it gets them to read the copy. The copy kind of quote unquote sells them. It gets them excited. It makes the hair stand up on their arms, as we like to refer to it as with myself and the client roster at Bax Consulting. And then from there, it takes them to the funnel or the website or whatever, and then that's where that process can then obviously take over, and that's obviously when they convert as a lead if it's an info product, a booked call if it's an info product, or if it's e-commerce, obviously just a direct sale. Now, on the topic of creatives, here is a really, really good kind of toolkit that you want to kind of ensure that you've always got at bay for your creatives, for your Facebook ads and Instagram ads, etc. So the first type of creative that we've got is PR. Okay, this is obviously, and right above each section, obviously you've got the type of creative that it is. So you've got PR, you've got product value proposition, so you can kind of see it in a different light. You've got UGC, which is essentially user generated content. So that's where you get one of your customers to basically send you a video or a photo of them using the product, of them wearing the product, etc. That works tremendously well. The reason this type of content works so well, the reason it converts amazingly well, is because customers resonate very much so with customers, because they're both customers, they're both in the same shoes, buying from the, no pun intended with this with the example on the screen here, but essentially they're both in the same shoes, right? They're both wanting to buy from this brand. One of them has, one of them hasn't. So they really do listen to other customers. That's why UGC works so well. Then you've got influencer testimonials. Obviously that works well because, influencers do have a lot of, as it says in the name, they have a lot of influence over certain people. So influencer testimonials work really well. Then you've got lifestyle and product on white. So that's a really, really good kind of toolkit for your creatives and whatnot. This is more tailored to e-commerce, but for info products, it's the same idea. We really like long form copy with still images of the info product founder, lifestyle shots, etc. But as I say, that's a really good toolkit. Now, again, here's kind of the uncomfortable truth in regards to just the pure impact that creatives can actually have on results. So as you can see on the left here, this is before we came in for this client. This is an e-commerce client. So before we came on board, they were working with a previous agency, and that agency, as you can see, was using one creative account wide. And for the month of February 11th to March 11th, they spent $36,000 and brought in $25,000 for an average ROAS of 0.7. Okay, terrible results. Now, what we did when we came on board, you can see it's roughly 2 weeks later, March 25th is when we kind of started to run ads and whatnot and started to take over. Myself and my team actually wanted to experiment what would happen if we didn't change anything else but creatives. So we started to leverage creatives that resonate. We started to follow we started to implement things of this nature, creatives of this nature, as you can see. Again, this stuff that I'm going through in this case study is not pulled out of thin air in any way, shape or form. It's like cold, hard facts that we've been using in client ad accounts. So we started to leverage that, and we kept everything the same. We kept the ad copy the same. We kept the audience targeting the same. We kept the ad account structure the same. We just started to leverage creatives that resonate. And you can see literally the month that followed, 45,000 spent. So we increased the spend by, roughly 9,000, and we brought in 107,000 for an average ROAS of 2.32. Now, it's not the craziest ROAS in the world, but it's not going to warrant the most crazy ROAS in the world when we didn't even change our audience, the ad copy, etc. All we did was change the creative. So that's just the pure and utter impact that leveraging the correct creative can have on your ads. Now, let's have a look at audiences that act. Okay, so we've gone through creatives, we've gone through ad copy. Now we need to look at putting those two things in front of audiences that act, okay? So if you do these two things right, ad copy that strikes a nerve, you create ad copy that strikes a nerve by truly understanding your ideal customer avatar, etc. Plus creatives that stop the scroll. So you use and leverage creatives that really stop the scroll. They fit into the, the platform that you're marketing on. And they jump out, they bring your ideal customers scrolling to a screeching halt, okay? If you do those two things right, then all you now need to do is find where your ideal customers congregate within the Facebook platform using avatar-driven targeting. And to be honest, this is the easy part, right? Because Facebook has the most advanced AI targeting on the planet. And Facebook's number one priority is their user experience. They don't care about anything else other than user experience. That's their absolute number one priority. And so because their AI and deep learning is so advanced, they understand exactly what people want to see and what they don't want to see. And really, this enables brands to only have their ads shown to audiences that are actually interested in your product. And, if your ad copy and creative resonate with that specific audience on a deep level, they convert, okay? This is going back to what I was saying previously about, who does your target audience follow, right? For example, I was using the, Joe Rogan. So Joe Rogan on Facebook may have a size of, I don't know, say for easy numbers, 5 million, right? It's a huge, huge influencer. So he may have a size of maybe 5 million audience size. But what will happen when you run ads to Joe Rogan, right? Your ideal customer likes and, interacts and resonates with Joe Rogan himself. When you run your ads with, copy that strikes a nerve and really good creatives that we've already spoken about, you run it to the audience of Joe Rogan, that ad isn't actually going to get shown to the entire 5 million audience size that the audience actually is, right? It's going to go to specific smaller clusters. As I've just mentioned, Facebook's AI learning is so advanced. It's the most advanced on the planet. They will be able to pick the best clusters of that audience because they will know exactly who's most likely to convert by understanding what people want to see and what they don't want to see. So as I say, the hardest thing in this entire process is creating ad copy that converts and leveraging creatives that really, jump out to your ideal customers. That's the hardest thing, because the audience side of things, you kind of just want to leave it up to Facebook for the most part, because they have, as I mentioned, just the most advanced AI targeting on the planet. So they know what they're doing. And, as much as I kind of hate it to say, they're a lot smarter than myself and the team at Bax Consulting. So we often put it in their hands, by giving them slightly broader audiences, and then we kind of just let them do their thing. And once the ad copy and the creative is on point, it's game over at that point. And really, this is how we're able to generate, returns of these heights. Look at that 18.5 ROAS in the month of July. 12,000 spent, 25,000 brought in the month of July. How do we generate those types of results? It's because we put ads in front of audiences. Those audiences want to actually see our ads because Facebook knows what they want to see and they know what they don't want to see. So the reason they're seeing the ad is because Facebook knows they want to see it. And the ad itself has ad copy that strikes a nerve within that ideal customer, within that audience. And the creative itself catches the audience's attention. It's the perfect funnel, and then at that point, they're naturally going to convert, given that the sales process is on point, given that there's product market fit, etc. And again, here's just another great case study, right? 5,800 spent, 24,000 brought in 7 days. As you can see there, the date range, 1st of September to the 7th of September. So 1 week, 6,000 spent, 24,000 brought in, average ROAS of 4.13. So now let's move on to mastering the art of becoming ubiquitous. So studies have shown, right, that the rate of people who abandon checkout is 77.24%. So for every 100 people who add a product to the cart on your website, on average, only 23 of them will actually convert. So really, by not becoming ubiquitous, you are leaving over 77% of your business on the table, right? And we can see that perfectly here in this example. So you can see two campaigns. The top one is obviously cold. So this is going to, that's running to people who have no idea who the brand is. And we're trying to convert those. You can see that by those final three columns, we're doing that very well with this client. 15,000 spent, 171,000 brought in, average ROAS of 11.3. But then what I really want you to look at in this screenshot is the second campaign, right? The second row down, which is retargeting. That's the retargeting campaign. For that campaign, we spent 6,500 and brought in over 150,000 for an average ROAS of 23, right? Obviously, ROAS being how much you're getting back for every dollar you're spending. So for that retargeting campaign, we're spending $1 and getting $23 back. So, in this case, if we weren't to profitably become ubiquitous, right? If we weren't to or effectively become ubiquitous, we would have left over $150,000 on the table. And that's just the cold, hard truth of, how important it is that your brand is always at the forefront of your customers' minds. And as I mentioned, you're essentially, you become ubiquitous, your brand becomes ubiquitous. So how do you profitably become ubiquitous? Well, here's a perfect funnel to explain exactly how. So you've got paid/organic traffic that goes to your website, right? And as we know, 23% of them, this is based off the data, 23% of them will go ahead and purchase. But the thing is, 77% of them abandon checkout and they'll leave. So we don't want that to happen. Now, it's inevitably going to happen on your website. Obviously, you can optimize your funnel, you can optimize your website to reduce that amount, but there's always going to be a percentage of people who leave. So what you then want to do is turn that into a retargeting audience, right? And that's going to actually be 77% of your traffic, right? So it's going to be a lot of people. So you want to turn that into your retargeting audience. And really leveraging retargeting audiences is the singular most powerful tool within Facebook. This is purely retargeting for another one of our clients, right? This is an e-com client. This is purely retargeting. Look at those returns. 30 ROAS, 26 ROAS, 30 ROAS, 25 ROAS, 21 ROAS, right? We're spending $1, we're bringing in $30 back, $25 back, $21 back, $30 back, etc. However, here's the caveat, and this is what nobody talks about. Everybody says, run retargeting, it works really well. And yes, it does work really well, but there's a huge caveat to it, okay? And that is that you must change your approach for retargeting because the dynamic is simply different, okay? So here's a really good graph that shows you, the retargeting audience state of mind, understanding the retargeting audience state of mind. So they see your cold advert, then they go to your website, and then they become your retargeting audience. So that retargeting audience, right, it's already been sold. It's already been sold. They know what your product is. They know what it does. They know the price of it. They know how it can help them. They know why it can help them. They've seen reviews. Overall, they've already been sold. So if you now run ads to that retargeting audience in the same way that you run ads to your cold audience, they're not going to convert because, as I'm sure you've probably guessed, it's not going to resonate with them. So what you need to do for your retargeting is leverage product-focused creative and copy that makes sense. Now, product-focused creative is simply the creatives that really show the product's benefits. What are they going to actually be buying? Because as I say, they've already been sold. So now all they want to see is, once they do pay you that $150, that $30, that $4,000, whatever the product is, what are they physically going to be getting? Okay, that's where product-focused creative comes into play. And that can be in the form of video and images as well. Then also you want to leverage copy that makes sense. Now, I'm probably sure you're asking yourself right now, what does copy that makes sense mean? What is it? Well, majority of those within your retargeting audience need an extra push to get them over the line. Okay, that's why they didn't purchase the first time around. Okay, there's a reason behind why they didn't purchase the first time around. So if you now go ahead and attack them again with the exact same sales processes you hit them up with the first time around, they're just not going to purchase again because there was something about that first time around that just didn't hit with them, which is why they didn't buy. So the number one piece of copy you ought to use for retargeting is offer-based copy. Okay, remember, retargeting audiences have already been sold. Your retargeting audience already knows the value of your product as they have already been sold. And so when they receive a 10% off offer, for example, right, they purchase straight away because they know the value of it. They know the value is $100, for example. But once they receive that same product for $90, they're just like, oh my God, this is a great offer. I'm buying right now. That's why it works so well. So that's the first thing. Offer-based copy for retargeting will always produce a unmatched ROAS. Now, the second unmatched piece of copy that you want to use for retargeting is what I like to call the FAQ piece. So I'm sure from you running your brand, you routinely get questions like this. Do you have a guarantee? Do you ship internationally? Can I make a return if I don't like it? Does this work if I'm X, right? How is this different from anyone else, right? I'm sure that you routinely get questions of this nature. There's always going to be that one common question that you routinely get, and it's probably going to be more brand specific. So, for your specific brand, your specific industry, you may get certain questions and whatnot. But there will always be that just one question that you get asked from customers who are on the fence about buying. So, because of that, it's very safe to assume that there's a myriad of more customers in your retargeting audience with that exact same question. And so you want to answer that within your copy. And, here's just a screenshot that I took of a client, 1st of September. Literally we spent $76. By the way, this is an informational product client. Spent $76, got 2 purchases, and the purchase conversion value is 1,100 for an average ROAS of 14.45. And this is for an info product client. And again, it's just because we leveraged for this specific example. Actually, we was leveraging that FAQ piece. So it was answering the most common question that this specific client got asked. And yeah, it just works amazingly well because again, you're speaking to them directly and your ads are resonating with them at all times, at all parts of the funnel. So really, that's exactly how we scale our e-commerce and info product clients to multiple 7 and 8 figures. And it's really how we produce over 6 figures a month after ad cost for our e-com and info product clients. Obviously, first things first, the platform we must be on, Facebook and its networks. The 3 components to successful advertising by leveraging ad copy that strikes a nerve within our ideal customer, coupling that with creatives that actually stop the scroll, right? And then putting that in front of audiences that truly act. That's how we generate those real high ROASes and the really good returns, right? For both e-commerce and really in any industry within the e-com, industry. And then also mastering the art of becoming ubiquitous and doing that in a way that's just obscenely profitable. As I say, that's exactly how we go about taking our e-com and info product clients to multiple 7 and 8 figures. Now, really at this point, there's a couple options that you have, right? Option number 1 is doing this yourself. However, this will take you a long time to build a solid proof of concept that routinely, month on month, spits out cash. It will take a long time. It's took us multiple years to finally, figure out an approach that works no matter what, given the product has a product market fit, given there's a good sales process behind it. Our approach works no matter what. And it's taken us years and years to adopt this approach and really build it out and refine it and take it through a bunch of iterations and whatnot. So, it will take you a long time to build that proof of concept. Also, naturally, you may not even be profitable. And if you are, then you're going to have to go through multiple months of losing cash before you get to that point, right? There will be a lot of lost money going at it on your own. And, you also won't have any creative direction, which will result in aimlessly putting out ads and hoping for the best. And, really with Facebook ads, any sort of hope in the ads manager never warrants any good results. You always need to be making decisions based off of the data. And also you won't have your ads written by experts at copywriting, which will massively hinder your entire funnel's result, because if no one is clicking, then no one will buy. And now at this point, you truly understand how important it is that you have amazingly well-written copy that strikes a nerve in your ideal customer and makes the hairs stand up on their arms. You realize the importance of that. However, if you go out alone, you won't have experts writing your copy for you. And also, this is probably the most costly expense, which is you'll be working in the business, not on it. While you're focusing your entire days on marketing, which you will be because it truly is a full-time job, there will be no energy spent in other areas of your business, which will cause more harm than good. Now, option 2 is to work with a different agency. However, there's a couple problems that come along with that as well. Not only do other agencies take an entire month to onboard you, but they also have the nerve to actually charge you an onboarding fee. And also when it comes to them actually delivering results, which only a very, very small handful can actually do, even the results that they do deliver, it's not of a high level. When it does get to that point though, majority of agencies out there use something called a spray from the hip strategy, which is essentially where they'll try anything and everything and just hope that something sticks. This wastes a tremendous amount of money, and even when they do find something that works, it never recoups the lost money. As I'm sure you would have been able to tell, we have a very scientific approach at Bax Consulting to delivering results, and it's what produces the best results routinely, no matter what. Whereas a lot of other agencies out there, they don't actually use any sort of science, any sort of maths or anything like that. They're just purely based on emotion. And again, emotion in the ads manager, emotion when it comes to running paid traffic is never a good combination. And again, copywriting, they also have a laughable approach to copywriting that never focuses on getting as much juice out of their squeeze. It never focuses on that. And look, this is just a brand that I found on Facebook. It was just an ad that I got served. I wanted to block out the names because I don't want to throw any shade at the brand. But this is an ad that could get shown on behalf of your brand by another agency. Right? Just look at that ad copy. That ad copy is not striking a nerve within anybody. That ad copy isn't resonating on a deep level with absolutely anybody. So it's very safe to assume that this ad would be doing really, really terrible. And that's just because another agency wrote it. And again, even they themselves, no matter what they say, 95, 96, 7, 8, 9% of the time, they're not experts themselves. Now, option 3 is that we can scale your e-commerce or info product brand together. If you truly want to just escape that 15,000 to 80,000 per month rat race and start to make serious headway to multiple 7 and 8 figures with your e-commerce or info product brand, then go ahead and click on the apply now button. It'll be right below this video, and go ahead and schedule in your growth demo call with myself. Now, what is the Bax Consulting Growth Demo Call? It's a simple conversation with myself and our CMO. Okay, it's not a sales call. We're not going to try and hard sell you. It's just a genuine conversation. And our main goal is to essentially go through something that we like to call a diagnosis, which is basically where we break down your business to its foundations / true numbers and see if it makes sense to scale up via paid traffic. We do have a lot of brands reaching out to us wanting to work with us because the insane results that we are routinely able to generate for our clients. If we genuinely don't believe that we can get them from where they are right now to where they want to go, if we don't believe that we can bridge that gap, we don't bring them on as a client, because we only want to work with clients where we 100% know that it's going to be an absolute home run. And the other reason why we don't want to work with clients where we don't believe we can absolutely kill it for is because we oftentimes, with the way that we go about charging, we're not a cheap agency, but what we oftentimes do is hedge our bets on us performing. We actually charge significantly lower monthly set retainers than a lot of the agencies out there, but we go ahead and charge performance-based fees as well, so that we actually are hedging our bets on us actually performing, as opposed to us just charging you an outrageously high retainer whether we perform or not. We like to hedge our bets on us actually performing. And so because of that, we need to make sure that every brand we bring on board, we genuinely know we're going to do really well for. So, if we don't believe that we can actually get you really, really good results, then it's a hindrance to us bringing you on board for ourselves and for you as well. Because as I say, we make majority of our money from us actually performing on client ad accounts. So we basically go through a process of diagnosis. And then, if you are a good fit, then we will simply explain what we have to offer. And if it makes sense on your end, we can move forward and truly start the road to multiple 7 and 8 figures. And really, this 45-minute growth call will be the most valuable 45 minutes that you invest into your business this entire year. I can guarantee it. It has the capacity to completely change the trajectory of your overall brand. Literally, it's 45 minutes for the next 45 years of your business. And, again, who is this for? Well, this is really for those e-commerce or info product founders who are making more than $15,000 a month, right? Because we like to see a proof of concept. That's how we can see and really, understand whether we can actually be of value, because one thing that you got to realize with Facebook ads and paid traffic overall is that it oftentimes just scales up the current results that you're already getting. So if you're not able to sell any units, you're not able to enroll any members into your program, you're not able to, whatever it is, you're not able to at least hit 15,000 with whatever your current marketing strategy is, then when you go into Facebook ads and paid traffic, it's not like we're going to be able to completely transition that around and then it's like, just happy ever after. It doesn't work like that. It scales up the current results. Now, if you're already doing pretty well organically through Instagram, whatever it is, then paid traffic is going to significantly scale that up. So again, this is for those e-commerce or info product founders who are making more than at least $15,000 per month. It's also for those who are actively wanting to scale their brand to multiple 7 and 8 figures. And also, it's for those brands where their products genuinely bring immense value to their customers' lives. As I said, we don't work with any and every brand, simply because we only like to have a client roster of really cool and amazing clients themselves and brands. And one thing that we really like to see is that, our clients are providing an immense amount of value to their customers, whether it's e-com or info product, it doesn't matter. The product genuinely needs to be of high value, okay? And it's, for those also who are solely results orientated, if we do end up bringing you on board as a client, we do add you to our client roster, you'll see that we are very, very much results orientated. And so we like to see clients who are the exact same as well. And finally, it's also for those who understand that the only way to make aggressive headway to multiple 7 and 8 figures is by having skin in the game. Okay, so again, these are some clients that are currently working with us, and they actually came through this exact same process of booking in a call. We hopped on the call, we went through diagnosis to see if they were a good fit to come on as a Bax Consulting client, and obviously these clients were an amazing fit. And so here's just a couple of the results that we're able to generate. So look here, we added multiple 7 figures to this brand directly from paid traffic. So how I say we take e-commerce and info product brands to multiple 7 and 8 figures, we actually are doing this. This isn't, again, any ideas kind of pulled out of thin air or whatever. No, we're genuinely doing this on a day-to-day basis. So, added multiple 7 figures to this brand directly from paid traffic. This is another client where we're spending around $3,000 a day, and we're routinely bringing in around the $15,000 a day mark directly from the ads that we're running, which, in this case, it's producing around a 5 ROAS. Another client, 440,000 generated in Q2 of 2020 from 30K ad spend, 18 days, 94K generated from 16.6K in ad spend. This is a huge client case study, 1.37 million generated in 11 months from 86K ad spend. So not quite multiple 7 figures just yet for this client, but obviously we're more than on track to do that. And we've actually been significantly scaling up the past couple of months with this client. We very first started out very slow. I think we're spending around 2,000 a month. Then we slowly bumped that up, and we're currently sat around 15,000 a month, I believe, with this client, maybe 20,000 now. But yeah, obviously more than on track to hit that multiple 7 and 8 figure range with this client. And to finish it off, 274,500 generated in Q1 of 2020 from 20,000 ad spend. So I really do implore you to go ahead and book in your growth demo call below. As I mentioned, if this call suits you, if you're in that 15,000 to 80,000 per month rat race and you really want to just break out of it, you've got a strong product market fit, that your product genuinely brings immense value to your customers' lives, then as I mentioned, I implore you, go ahead, click the button below. It's going to take you to the scheduling page, the apply now button below. It's going to take you to the scheduling page. Choose a time on my calendar that suits you best, and we can hop on a call and really just diagnose your brand, see if it makes sense to scale up via paid traffic. And if it does, then I'm more than happy to show you what we have to offer, and potentially we can bring you on as a Bax Consulting client and start actually scaling you to multiple 7 and 8 figures. So with that being said, I'm really looking forward to speaking with you one-to-one. And I also just wanted to say thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to go through this case study. And I really just hope that also this presentation alone, this case study alone, actually brought immense value to you as well. And with that being said, I'm really looking forward to speaking with you on our growth demo call.